What's this mean? Continue. I said leave. I had a choice to leave the meeting, and if I so I wished. I'm sticking with it, so that'd be good.
Yeah. This is Wrong Speed Record Chat number 1, part 2. When we first did it, we rushed, and it was short, and we didn't cover everything. But on this one, we're going to cover things. This got Mr. Bob Davis. How you doing?
All right. I'm all right. I'm good.
Have you been waiting there since part 1?
6 months.
I know, right?
Becky's been bringing food and razors. I've just been using like wet wipes and stuff just to freshen up every now and then. But I knew one day, I knew this time would come. This day would come, and it's come now. Which is good, because I do need a proper shower.
You do like to keep shaved, though. Even on tour, you shave.
Can't grow a beard. Can't grow a beard. I just end up with a patchy sort of halitosis history teacher beard, and I don't look. It doesn't suit. It really doesn't. So I don't bother even trying to grow a beard. And I do enjoy having a lovely shave. And when you're on tour and you're skanky, that sort of 4 or 5 days in, you find you're in a hotel and you can have a shave. Oh, it's bliss. I don't care if everyone else stinks. I want to be looking good. Feeling good. I'm not looking good ain't going to happen. Feeling good. Yeah. Still hungover to buggery, but.
So, we chatted about doing this because I thought we could go back in time greatly and hugely embarrass ourselves about our history. So the story is we went to nursery school together. Okay, so yeah. I'm going to say we met, I'm going to say we met when we were about 2, and I don't really know where to start because I've got absolutely piles of crap here. Do you have any memories of nursery school?
I have memories of being. I remember once falling off a bike there, and that's about it. And I don't remember a great deal from nursery. To be honest with you, it was a few years ago now. But yeah, I remember always hanging out with you at school. From very early, like 6 or 4, 5, 6. And quite often going off to Brentford games with you and your dad and your brother, normally birthdays and stuff. But yeah, nursery, I don't remember a great deal about it. To be honest with you.
Right. So this was it was in the town of Berkhamsted. We went to Victoria School, and I had to rummage through a box that I haven't rummaged through in about 25 to 30 years today. We've moved house a whole bunch of times. Things get buried. When I was 15, okay, I thought that this would be a good idea. I did a band family tree when I was 15 of the bands we'd done and went on to do elsewhere, and it looks like this.
Oh, blimey.
I know, but
yeah,
it's very detailed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it starts here, 1986, okay?
Right.
It says we're 12. Formed at the end of middle school, TAS, which was the Augusta Smith School, wherever it was known as TAS in the area.
Yeah.
Doing Status Quo covers and Dire Straits songs. I put they were named after a Quo song, pretending like this has been written by someone else, like into our history and.
Yeah.
We were called Resurrection.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I did find today. I found this, which was a poster, which is dog shit. Awesome. But I was 12 or something. It's like Resurrection. Where's it? Where's the camera there? Yeah. Resurrection, and it's an eagle on a cross that's dripping blood.
Who drew
that? Said, I drew that. I actually traced it off a Big Country record. For some reason, it's utter toss. And I've kept it because I did it when I was like 12 or something. But yeah, I don't know what it's supposed to for. I think it's just we were going to put it on the drum kit, but we didn't have a drummer, so we just put it in my bedroom, and it's just moved from house to house since.
That's it. So it was Lee Nutkins on bass, yourself on guitar, of course.
Yeah.
And I played, according to this, keys.
You did. Yeah.
It says here, They were always on the lookout for a drummer. 3 candidates were Darren Pugh, Jason Webb, and Jason Gibbs. Lee hasn't been heard of since. It is rumoured that he's become a recluse. He came out for Nebworth. There you go.
I don't think that's. I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure it's factually correct. Who else is on there? Is anyone made it big, made it famous on our family tree of rock?
Well, after Resurrection, we were there was you, Julian, and George were in a band called the Mad Moshing Midgets.
Oh yeah.
Then you were in the band the Man Eating Carrots with Eve.
Oh yeah. Very progressive, that band.
Yeah. I pinged left and went to Kamikaze with George Stewart and Brian, and then DOA. We added Phil. He'd never played the guitar before. Other bands were Brain Bucket, Garage Days, which was our official kind of first band, I would say.
Yeah, I've got some pictures of Garage Days actually, somewhere around here. Yeah, I'll show you a bit.
Yeah. And then after a couple of years, by 1990, March 1990, so we're 15, The State We're In, named after, I believe, a Dogs D'Amore album.
I think, their first record that isn't that great. And oddly, I've never heard that first Dogs D'Amore record. It was one of these sort of, I think the band hated it themselves. Yeah. But it got re-released about 5 or 6 years ago, and Paul got a copy through Cargo. Yeah. So we were driving to a gig, and on went this CD of this State We're In Dogs D'Amore reissue. It's awful. It's really awful. But Paul insisted we listen to it at least 5 times in the car. It was a bloody long journey.
I think the common consensus is it sounds like Royal Trucks.
Oh, I pressed a button. Are you there?
I'm here. What are you doing? You did this last time. You knocked the camera off last time.
Oh, hang on. There we go. Sorry about that. Go on. Carry on. You've lost your flow now.
No, well, common consensus is The State We're In, the Dogs D'Amore album, sounds like Royal Trucks. I don't know if that's true.
I'd have to listen to it again, but I certainly didn't think that was I was driving up the M1.
Mm. And apparently, so at the end of this, I finished doing this in 1990.
Oh, yeah.
By that point, we're 15, and look at the bands we'd done.
Yeah.
If the rumours that keep persisting are true, we can expect a tour around May 1990. Then who knows?
Still waiting. Still waiting.
Amazing. I totally forgot about this. It really blew my mind.
Not the enthusiasm of a 15-year-old there. That's bonkers. I've got a picture of Garage Days here. You're rocking a very fine Faith No More t-shirt there. I think I've got Atom Seed t-shirt on there. Look at that. It's almost like nothing's changed. Les Paul copy, George and Stuart there. And, that was good fun.
Yeah. Well, here's us hanging from a tree outside Stuart's house.
Yeah. That's pretty rock, isn't it? Pretty rock. That tree wasn't a tree; it was a bush. It's about 3 foot tall. I think. I seem to remember Brian, who took the photo, lying on the floor to try and make it look like a proper big bush tree thing. It just, we didn't have a clue, did we?
But the things we did, though. Here's the thing. We recorded a demo tape. I can't.
Oh yeah.
I can't find it. We recorded a tape, and as what I believe was common around in the 80s and before, I posted it to myself.
Oh, copyright.
For copyright reasons.
Still closed, is it?
Yeah, still closed.
Well, you keep it closed because.
And I put on here, please stamp or frank the back as well. A little message to the postman.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They just stamped the front.
Yeah, they don't care, do they, the Royal Mail?
Yeah, I've still got it. It's still copyrighted. So if anyone steals these songs.
Yeah. Keep an eye on Part Chimp. Keep an eye on Part Chimp having those songs away.
Here we are. Here's something I found. And this is one of our very first gigs. I think probably it was the Going Underground. I'm not sure. Set list.
Oh, right. Born? What's that?
Must be Born to be Wild.
Oh, yeah, we did do that. Oh, yeah.
But what's interesting, what's really interesting is on the back is your settings for your amp and pedal.
9. Oh, wow.
Head, and then there's little like thing up here, like.
No, that I still do that. I've got on my actually on a couple of my pedals, I've still got like a bit of gaffer tape with the settings because I wouldn't remember otherwise. Yeah. But yes, that's so that see, I was forward thinking. That was. It's, who knows? I don't need a guitar pedal roadie.
Yeah. We also we sent our demo tape off to Chiltern Radio, the local radio.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Dear Joe, thank you very much for entering our Young Pop Act competition. Unfortunately, you did not make it to the final. But all the entries were of a very high standard, and our judges had a difficult time selecting the finalists. We wish you every success for the future.
We should follow that up.
Yeah, that's good. I've kept that. That's handy. Chiltern Road Dunstable.
Wow. That's a shame. That could have been a whole new different career for us.
Any memories of these glory days yourself?
I remember playing the Underground bar in Berkhamsted loads of times. I think we played there at least 6 or 7 times. Yeah. And always really good fun.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's Mike Camp's that face is Mike Camp, who sadly died about 3 years ago. Yeah. A really, really, really funny, lovely bloke. And I think me and quite a lot of people miss him quite a lot. He was a lovely, lovely guy. He had his problems, obviously, but he was a really cool guy. And his band were fucking terrible. But those gigs, we did a lot of gigs with Super Stupid because we all got on so well. And I always remember we always having great fun with them. But yeah, I didn't know you still had that post. That's amazing. That must be about 1990 or 91, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember. I relentlessly say, why do people not put the frickin' years on things? But going underground, High Street, Berkhamsted, spelt wrong for some reason, next to Perfect Pizza.
Yeah. It was a really, really cool place. I loved it down there.
Yeah, so talk to me about going underground, because I that's just quickly, I loved it in there.
I think it used to be like a wine bar.
Yeah.
And I bored you already. You're off.
I got to let the dog out. Standard. Yeah.
It was a wine bar called Cheers or Tipsies or maybe both. I can't remember. And then it suddenly overnight it just appeared this sort of, it turned into Going Underground bar. And it seemed to be this music venue. And at that point we'd recorded like our first cassette demo, and we just took it down there. And I said, I can't remember. It was either you or George. That's the one. We took it down there and said, can we get a gig? And the guy that used to do the sound down there, a guy called Lloyd Gilbert, who ended up being a guitar tech for Status Quo. So if you look at any YouTube video of guitar techs, the Status Quo guitar tech, that's Lloyd Gilbert, who used to work at the Underground, and really, really, again, another really cool guy. And he just immediately went, well, let's have a listen to it. And he just stuck this demo on over the PA in the room. I went, oh, Christ. So that went on, and he was like, yeah, right, you can have a gig if you want to play on Friday. And that's when we supported the Late Road Lunatics. That was our first sort of gig. That's the one. I can't believe you've got that. Yeah, that was our first proper gig. Yeah. I seem to remember. Yeah, absolutely petrified I was. I was like 16 with no real songs. And I was like, yeah, we got a gig. But yeah. Good fun though, really good laugh. But it was such a brilliant venue. I saw so many cool bands down there. I saw like the Groundhogs down there, I saw the Selector down there. Saw Terrorvision down there a couple of times, which was really good. Papa Brittle, do you remember them? Sort of crusty, there were loads of bands. RDF, Radical Dance Faction, played down there at least 2 times. I saw them, and it just not Chump One, but African Head Charge and a lot of those sort of crusty dub reggae bands we played down there quite a lot, and it was just such a great night. It was the room itself was tiny; it had no air conditioning. Yeah, so good, so good.
Yeah, but, I heard this band played in there, which I didn't realise until recently. Spitboy.
Yeah, you told me about that. I may have been. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's got a list of their tour dates in here, and they played.
Yeah. Spitboy. Well, it did become sort of at the end of its life, it became like a proper sort of touring circuit venue, I suppose. But I saw so many gigs down there.
Did you see them?
But yeah, actually saying Birdland's. I think Birdland's last ever gig was there, and they were awful, and they got heckled and heckled and heckled. They just didn't want to be there, and you could tell they were on the verge of splitting up. And I think if you go on the Birdland tour dates, the Underground Bar is their last ever night. It's quite sad, really, because they were huge at one point.
Yeah, well, certainly relatively huge to be playing. Yeah, we were lucky to have that venue in Berkhamsted.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, there's one record I dug out this record. It's a band I saw down there. They played down there at least 2 or 3 times, and they were brilliant. It's this Pop 'em Good. I don't know if you remember them. Yeah. I bought their demo when they played down there. So this is like 1990. I bought their demo, and it's really good. But this came out on Damaged Goods, I think. I could be wrong, whatever label is. Yeah, this came out on Damaged Goods. It's the proper record they put out. And there again, I saw them at the Underground. That's the only place I ever saw them. I never ventured into London to see them there, even though I knew they were there from there.
Stand-up drummer.
Yeah, bass drummer that stood up, and then a guitarist. Just really jangly pop songs.
Yeah,
but just brilliant. Yeah, really. I'm sure they're all over the net somewhere. You can probably find this Pop 'em Good. But yeah, they were really cool. There's a picture of them there, looking mean.
Looking 80s.
Yeah, they were good. Yeah, that's the drummer, Dermot. I seem to remember he was the drummer. He's sitting down there, but he stood up when he played. He's got it all wrong in this.
Oh, weird. So other places we played locally. We played his poster with the Shatners.
Oh yeah.
We played at the old cellar in Old Town Hammer.
Yeah. With Shatners with Dom Lawson's band. Exactly. Which is he went on to be in that band Matter, which is a pretty hardcore sort of supporting like Napalm Death and all that sort of stuff. Obviously he writes for Metal Hammer and Kerrang, all that sort of stuff now. I think he's done quite well as a journalist. So
yeah, and the Boxmoor Arts Centre, they were always good gigs over in Hemel.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, just for the hell of it, here's the Shatner's demo.
Big-breasted Bruce.
Yeah.
They were good. They were a good band.
They were kind of cardiac-y.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if they did go a bit more serious when they got rid of their original guitarist and they got this other guy in, and they started sounding like more cardiacs, a bit like No Means No as well. They were good. They were good. They did some good stuff, and then they stopped.
Yeah. I think was the guitarist is also in a band called the Henry Kelly Death Squad.
Well, that's news to me. I'll definitely look that one up.
Local stuff, of course.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it, here's another gig. We played with the King Cut Grovers at the
Cellar. God, yeah, that was who was the King Cut Grovers? That was Paul. I seem to remember he's called Paul was playing drums for them.
Yeah.
And he used to have rehearsals in his bedroom in his house. He had a massive house in Boxmoor. I seem to remember going around there once trying to get a band together with him. And we were like, where are we going to rehearse? He was like, in my bedroom. Like, what? I'd had a rehearsal in my bedroom. The police would have been called within seconds.
Here's the thing. So we booked those gigs, or some of those gigs we booked, like the Cellar in Hemel, we would book it. And I've still got a receipt that I paid for the hire of the venue. It's Decorum Borough Council.
Yeah.
£216.
Where did we find that money from? Where the hell did we find 200 quid from?
I don't know. Hire a cellar for live band evening on Saturday, the 6th of November, 1993.
Wow.
By this point, we're a massive 19 years old.
Yeah. That's part of our massive tour that you could have expected.
Oh, yeah. So I kept, for whatever reason, in case there was an issue, I've still got the receipt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Claim the tax back on it.
Yeah. Another place we played, Hemel Hempstead Adeyfield Youth Club.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hemel Nitrate.
You played with
that Hemel Nitrate. I remember that gig really well. Actually, it was really because I used to work in Adeyfield, in the Queen Square. I used to work in a shop in Queen Square, so it was like walking over the road to do a gig. It was like, oh god, this is like a busman's holiday. But it was a good night. I seem to be Hemel Nitrate. No, hang on, that gig didn't happen. It got cancelled.
We did play that.
Yeah, we did play there. That gig got cancelled. We played there about a month later because they double booked it, and we played there again about a month later because we played there with Chuff Master Moose, which was Ollie's band.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, and so this poster probably was about, my guess is, actually it says that there 1992.
Yeah,
And I think we thought we were signed to Sub Pop because this is one of your designs here. Now you put the Sub Pop logo at the bottom.
Hey, it got sold out.
Jesus, yeah.
This sub band have Hemel Hempstead accents.
And here's just to carry it on, because by this point we're called. No, actually, just quickly, there's a picture of us with Ollie.
Oh yeah, and Stuart. Yeah,
we're called Puncher.
Aren't we gorgeous?
Standing in a field somewhere. I think that we recorded a demo this day.
Yeah.
So, but just a bit after that, we changed and we're called Stanton.
Yeah.
And here's a poster with Chutney
I've
Buzz.
got that poster.
Bar.
Yeah, Gap Bar, which was the Hempstead. Hempstead's. Well, it's a college, isn't it? Watford College.
Yeah.
Which isn't it? I think it's there anymore. Don't know. I did have that poster somewhere. There's a bit of paper, but yeah, that's not. I drove past it yesterday. It's now like a school or something. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, it used to be. It was good, but yeah, that's Chutney Buzz. Bloody brilliant band. Oddly, because we've been talking about them recently, because one of the guys is still doing stuff. There you go. I've got a bigger version of that poster. It's so big, it's in two halves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so mine's better. Yeah, Chutney Buzz blue. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, they're good. But he's been such. He's oddly he's buying records off you now for the Wrong Speed stuff, which is quite weird. Like we did a gig with him like 30 years ago. It's quite weird.
Yeah,
but they're a good band.
Yeah, I think we've both got the 7-inch, right?
We have, yeah. I just again, they were really there weren't many bands doing vinyl, putting vinyl out. But when you got like a band like a band from Watford and pretty low key doing their own records and stuff, and it's a cracking record as well. It's really good. But it's you take note and stuff. And in fact, I still got it and I still play it quite often. I love it, absolutely love it. But it's quite cool that guy's been in touch and he's still doing stuff as well. They're a good band.
Yeah. So really, here's one thing I really, really wanted to show, and I was stunned when I found it. Okay, you're probably going to go, "Oh, I knew all this," but for me, I was amazed. This is the Bull and Gate, the state we're in.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't know the year. It's got to be 90 or maybe 91.
Yeah.
Have you got it? Have you got what I've got here? I've
got this big. Again, I've got mine's bigger than yours.
I've got this, but you can't read it because it's all screwed up. But look at the bands.
Yeah.
Look at the bands that played the same.
No.
We were there.
I dug this. It's about 5 or 6 years ago. I dug this out. I hadn't seen it because I think it was clearing out the loft or something. Yeah. And I was looking at it. It's like Tim Cedar from the Love Blobs, who's now obviously in part Chimp. And it's like all these Bivouac, they die cheerleader, and it's just really good lineup. Kinky Machine. Remember Kinky Machine? Remember them? They were good. Huggy Bear. I mean, Huggy Bear would have been a cracking gig to
yeah.
But we played on the Wednesday. And we weren't with Huggy Bear, unfortunately.
No, we played.
It was good.
Sing Siren and Swerve.
Yeah, I don't remember an awful lot about them.
No, I don't either.
To be honest with you.
But now looking, I was looking. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It was like Huggy Bear, Bivouac, all those bands. Die Cheerleader.
Yeah.
Crawdaddy.
Yeah. No, it was good. I looked at that the other week and I was like, it wasn't brilliant. It's quite funny to see all those bands and the fact that like Tim's on there. I was like, we know him now. I had no clue who he was. In fact, I dug out the Love because we saw the Love Blobs when they supported the Action Swingers.
Yeah,
and we they're a cracking band, the Love Blobs. It's like I've got these records, both these records. But one of these guys on this cover is Tim Cedar from Chimp, and I don't know if I can't work out. I think it's this one. But it could be that one. But I'm not sure. I don't know. They all look so similar. I can't.
Proper band, all looking the same.
Oh, they were good. Well, it's on. They're also proper label.
Yeah.
Really good label.
Yeah.
Really good. But yeah, we saw them years before we got to know Tim and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's quite funny sort of how sort of paths do crisscross over the years and stuff.
Yeah, so around then we were going to gigs together more often than not, sometimes not, in an example that I'm going to give in a minute that I'm still very upset about. But the places we went to the Woofton Centre, or however you pronounced it. Here's a ticket I found, the Atom Seed at the Woofton Centre.
Oh yeah. Racking band.
Not dated
really
very
good
well,
band.
I'm afraid. Not dated very well.
No.
The Civic Centre in Aylesbury. This is got. Look at the size of this ticket. You probably can't see who it is. I don't know. It's a family cat supported by PJ Harvey.
He was great that night. Absolutely. And no disrespect to the family cat, who I also enjoyed that night, but she absolutely stomped it, and she looked really nervous. I think it was possibly her first proper tour, and she had this. It was when she was playing that massive Gretsch guitar, and that was such a good gig, and she was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I did find actually, is that Reaction Club or something? I did find I've still got my membership card for that somewhere.
Yeah, it was.
Something to do. I'm sure it was something you told me this ages ago. The girl that ran it was the singer in Censor or something like that. Does that make sense? Could be wrong.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. I don't know.
But so those people, the Reaction Club or whatever, they did gigs in Aylesbury here.
Yeah.
I went to a couple there, and also in Wendover.
Oh yeah, there used to be a pub over there that put shows on. Yeah.
So,
I've just found Atom Seed. The Woofton Centre was the Wootton Centre. It was also called the Pits.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
I think there's another one. It's you can just about see it's the Almighty, who I went to see there as well. Yeah. Many gigs I saw there. Many gigs. But yeah, it was like a sports centre, wasn't it? So you'd be queuing up for a ticket to go and see, I don't know, some Little Angels or something like that. And then in the queue next to you would be a kid in a judo outfit, like having his lesson for that week. Stuff.
And it really, the whole venue smelt of the swimming pool. Do you remember? Yeah. Because there was a swimming pool right there, and the bands played in the room next to it. Do you remember we would go to, there was an off license in Berkhamsted we'd all go to before catching the train. Is that the agreement? Yeah. Can you remember the name of it?
Top Shop it was called. And we'd all get our cans of beer and get on we were like 14, so I'd get on the train smashed.
I'd buy like 2 or 3 bottles of Newcastle brown ale, and it would totally do me in.
Well, that's kind of we weren't hardened drinkers back then, were we?
No, I remember distinctly watching Mordred play at the Woofton Centre. I don't know if you remember. Did you go to see
I do remember. I remember the drummer had flu, and he was really ill, and in between songs he would have to jump off his drum riser and throw up underneath the stage. As kids, what we did the decent thing and looked under the stage and were like, "Oh, he's being sick."
They had decks. Do you remember they had?
Yeah.
They had decks playing with them.
They were a cool band, really good band.
I probably missed the drummer being sick because I too myself was being sick because it was like
Brown kicked in.
Because it was like a sports hall. It had like curtains around the edge. Do you remember?
I do.
Yeah, and I went behind one of the curtains and just threw up completely on the floor whilst Mordred were playing. Absolutely. I did a similar. I went to see, as you know, because I know you didn't go. I went to see Gangrene there. This is what I wanted to talk about. This is what I wanted to talk about. I think it was this tour, but I love this record.
It was. I did dig them out. I've got them here. I dug them out. I can't find them. They're here, but they are here. And I did go to that gig, and I did get absolutely smashed. And I stage dived and landed on my head, whilst tipsy, and about 15 or 14 or something. And I remember doing the same thing, just like ambling to the side of where those curtains were and doing exactly the same thing. And then probably just jumping back on stage again and doing another stage dive. What's the matter with you?
At the time, I lived at Kitsbury Road in Berkhamsted. And I remember you and Brian, our friend, coming to call for me that night that Gangrene were playing at Woofton Centre saying, "Let's go, we're going to go and see Gangrene right now. Come." And I had to stay behind and babysit my brother.
Oh, yes. Or if I know we've talked about this many times, and I know you're still quite annoyed about it, but it was a really good gig. Yeah.
I don't know why it's just bothered me relentlessly since then. It's probably
there's when a band is at their peak, they're really on it.
Gangrene were not at their peak in 91 or 2 or whenever. Shit.
From what I can remember, it was a really, really cracking night, and that was like the sort of first sort of foray into sort of like relatively sort of hardcore sort of slightly thrashier music for us. I think when we were like 14 and stuff, it seemed a bit more punk.
Yeah.
Than obviously we liked Anthrax, that sort of stuff, but this felt a bit more sort of grimy, our sort of street level than sort of a glitzy sort of band on a major. They were just a bunch of pissheads making hardcore sort of semi crossover sort of stuff, I suppose.
Yeah. I actually still really like this record.
Oh, it's a great record, really good record. Yeah.
And and I picked up an earlier one when we played when Colossus played in Shipley.
Right.
They were selling off their records really cheap. I picked up their first record.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I should have bought more of those records.
Yeah. Here's like in terms of DIY releases, I remember this being quite an influence. I listened to it recently. It's absolutely woeful. So, but at the time, I remember we quite liked them, and it was
they
were a big deal. Yeah. We saw them a lot, right?
I used to go and see them an awful lot. I've actually got the ticket for the very, very last time I saw them here, which I'll find in a minute. But I did go and see them an awful lot. Here you go. This is the last time I actually ever saw them, because the support band was Teenage Fan Club, and my mind was just like blown by how good Teenage Fan Club were and still are, and I still love them. And that was like, Teenage Fan Club came on. It was like, Atom Seed are rubbish. This is a proper band. They look like teachers, and I love them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It kind of dated bad, I think.
Oh, it's awful.
It was like that.
It's a shame. They were really good, and we did try and rip them off when we were like 16 in our funk metal band. In fact, I did find, because they were affiliated to the Organ magazine. Remember Organ? This thing.
Exactly. It's on the same.
I did find they reviewed our demo tape in here. And they described us as being, we were trying to be like a funk metal band at the time. We saw the light and grew up. We got more Atom Seed than Faith No More, a dirty funking Grebo beast in a garage. It's like thank God I saw Teenage Fan Club.
Well, we were certainly in a garage. I know that. Yeah, we recorded everything in Stuart's shed.
Yeah.
Stuart. Yeah.
Good guy.
Here's another thing that I thought was quite influential for us. Okay, was there was one night on TV around 19. You might know the year better. About 89-ish, maybe 1990. I got a feeling it was late 80s rather than 90s.
Right.
And it was Elvira presenting a night of heavy metal programs on television.
I'm aware of her and a lot of TV. Yeah.
And the things that she showed, there was Led Zeppelin live in some Swedish place. It was black and white. I think it was.
Swedish. Oh yeah.
There was a documentary that had Napalm Death talking about their
the heavy metal documentary.
Yeah. And also this.
Oh yeah.
Civilization.
Yeah, that's just essential viewing.
Essential viewing, indeed.
Yeah.
And but there was the whole night though. It was cool. I've still got it on VHS that night.
Oh really?
Yeah. It was all those.
That was really good. I still, because I think that's all over YouTube and stuff. You can watch it. The interview with Napalm Death in someone like Shane Embry's bedroom or something like that, and it just looks like a 15-year-old's bedroom, and he's just in it. But it's like, this is a band that we love. It's like they live like that. It's like they're just normal. That was a really good documentary. I love it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it for a while. I think I might need to dig it out and watch it. That's Civilization. That's the one with the geezer from Wasp who's totally off it in a swimming pool while his mum is watching.
Yes. Yeah. I'm under the impression though, I read afterwards that he was just pouring water. They filled vodka bottles with water and had him like pretending.
Yeah.
So, but that's not yeah, it's not to say he wasn't a total wreck. And if you listen to his recent solo stuff, you have to
Oh well, I'm aware.
Chris Holmes. Yeah, Google him.
Right. Utter rubbish. But I mean, another person's art.
Yeah, quite.
Who am I to judge?
No, exactly.
Yeah,
I've got some.
I might be buying.
We like him now. Essentially, it's fine.
Mm.
Okay, you can't see this. This is the first gig we went to together, 1988. Status Quo at Wembley.
Oh yeah.
And then the
my
same.
Yeah,
we went with your mum, didn't we?
Yeah. And my mum used to go see Quo quite a lot in the 70s.
Yeah.
And she hadn't seen them for quite a long time. And of course, the 70s gigs at Quo were quite raucous and sort of quite a bit of a proper knees up. And by this point, they're wearing like white slip-on trainers and pristine jeans and stuff, and it's all very middle of the road sort of pat. And my mum thought it was going to be a right old knees up again, jumped up on the chair, going, yeah, Quo, and just immediately got told to sit down by someone. She said, right, sit down. So mum was not impressed with how shit Quo had got.
So July 1988, we go and see Status Quo, me, you, and your mum.
Yeah.
Then November 1988, we go and see David Lee Roth at Wembley with my dad.
Yeah, you did. It's true. It happened.
Yeah.
Your dad drove us up there in a small sports car. I seem to remember, a very old small sports car with no heaters. And December, it was cold. Yeah.
We were row 3 though, and he did his whole surfboard on the crowd thing and everything.
Surfboard, boxing ring, that awful Steve Vai double-necked heart-shaped guitar thing.
This album.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, I remember your dad pulling out a copy of the Evening Standard just as Dave Lee Roth comes on stage. Your dad sat down and started reading the newspaper.
Hanging off the side of the cliff. Yeah, well, that's that. The critics have spoken when someone in row 3 is reading the newspaper. But yeah. Other gigs we went to with your mum, Dogs d'Amour at the Astoria.
Oh yeah, did my mum come to that one? Did she? All right. My mum was always trying to go to gigs with us. I've got a different one actually. I have got that one. Yeah, you go. Yeah, I've got one. Yeah. My mum was always trying to go to gigs with us. It got to when I got to about 16. Like, can I just go with my mates?
Yeah. Well, it was obviously around this time we start going on our own to get, like not with the other one we went to with I think.
Oh yeah, what a band!
Yeah.
What a band!
Yeah.
Such a cool band. Georgia Satellites. Still absolutely. I wish they were sort of still going as they were, because they were so good. I can't remember what happened. One of them left and it wasn't quite the same. They're a really good rock and roll band though. Really good fun.
Around that sort of time though, like we're discovering different music and moving on. And one of the things we did was we'd go to Shades Records in London.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
used to that's down used to be St Anne's Court in Soho. Because I worked for 20 years in Soho, and I always, every time I walk down St Anne's Court to go and get my lunch or something like that, I always had a sort of bit misty-eyed thinking about Shades Records. It's like long gone. I think it used to be. I think it's like a hairdresser's or something now. But you sort of think the amount of people that, because bands do signings and stuff down there, and it's just like you think the history that's gone on in that little tiny shop. And it's we bought some terrible records down there.
We did buy some terrible records, but I bought this one video that I think we watched a lot, and it was DRI live at the Ritz.
Yeah, that's essential viewing. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
really funny.
Yeah, and I said this in a previous episode actually, but so we go into Shades, and on the counter in Shades was a big television, and the television was showing videos, but with no sound. The sound was just a record they were playing. But they would have a mute video playing, and they had this playing on mute. And I bought it, not even hearing it. It just looks so.
Yeah.
I bought the video.
Yeah. Such a cool band. I went to see him actually last time they were in London. I went to see him with me and Manjeet. Went to see him at the Underworld, and it was DRI, who I'd never seen live. and then millions of dead cops supporting. It was just like this amazing hardcore gigs, so good. It was brilliant. I was just in my element. Like, no, I want to see this band for 30 years. Finally get to see them, and they didn't disappoint at all. They were absolutely brilliant. So
Yeah,
really good.
So this is the thing. See, so we start like this was a crossover band. Okay, so forgive the pun, but we start our music taste is totally changing by around 89.
Oh,
so
yeah,
14, 15, we're sort of heavy metal, but by about 89, we've changed, and what's come in is, apart from like in the UK, we're seeing disband a lot.
Yeah.
But of course, coming from America, you've got all this sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two absolute crackers. And so when I did the therapy records. I dug them out today because these two, especially this one, this first one.
Yeah.
Again, on a proper record, a proper decent label. And it's like yes. This is when we saw this lot for the. Certainly when I saw them for the first time, I was with you. Meet the Mean Fiddler.
Yeah.
And it was like they were so good, so.
Mean Fiddler and Hulls, wasn't
it? Yeah. The old one, the proper old one.
Yeah.
And the support band that night was this bunch. I don't even remember this lot. Do you remember Sun Carriage?
Oh yeah. Oh, how much did you pay for that? How much did you pay for that?
I got that for 50p a few years later in the record and tape. I'm not even going to attempt to try and peel this sticker off because I know it would take a whole cover with it. But that was, I've got a feeling it was Sun Carriage's last gig that night or something like that, and they were brilliant. It was a really good night. There was another band as well. It might have been Die Cheerleader as well. I don't know if you remember them. And I think it was like a Ouija 3-band bill.
You know what? I think it was Silverfish.
Oh really? Oh no, it wasn't. But Leslie was there because she was stage diving.
I saw Silverfish at the Mean Fiddler. I'm sure we saw him there.
Yeah. I just seem to remember having this conversation with you about this girl that keeps jumping on everyone, and you went, "That's Leslie from Silverfish." I went, "Oh, that's okay. That's fine. That's allowed."
She was awesome and terrifying, but yeah. But yeah, so that and here's the thing: like, no one's really on all these things I've talked about. No one has shown this record, and like to deny its importance is just wrong. Like it's
when because I know you went to see him on the Bleach, Blue. No, the other one. No, Bleach. I was right.
Got a ticket.
You saw me. Yeah, I know. I missed that one. I missed out on that one. But I did see him the following year.
Yeah.
And the Astoria. And in fact, here we go. 5th November 91.
Yeah.
So I did go and see him then. But yeah, I was so annoyed to not see him that first year. Well, that's actually the second time they came over, because they came over that first time with Tad and Mudhoney, didn't they? Yeah. But yeah, again, when that's that band just coming in, it just changes your whole mind how music should be and stuff like this.
It's like, and you know, obviously it's a zillion selling record, but does not stop for people who are there, especially hugely. The way it just changed.
The date that because we saw them at Reading. At 91 in Reading when they were on. We went down. It was the first year we went to Reading. We went down there, and we went in, and it was Honey Smugglers, Silverfish, Nirvana, and Nirvana came on, and they were doing loads of sort of old stuff off Bleach, and then they did a couple of new ones. We're like, oh, these are good, and I remember it so clearly exactly what happened. It's like they played "Smells Like Teen Spirit." It's the first time we'd ever heard it. Probably the first time most people in the UK had heard it. And they finished it, and you just turned around to me and just went, "That's a pretty good song, that." Yeah, that was right. That, and then obviously, you know, history and all that bollocks, but it did, yeah, yeah, it's all right, I suppose. But when the record came out, I went to buy it in our price in Hemel Hempstead the day of release, and they'd got in one copy on vinyl, one copy on CD, and one copy on cassette. It was like, what? It's like, I mean, me and Stuart had a race to get to our price, and he beat me. So I didn't actually buy it I bought it about 2 weeks later when they restocked it. Because it seems ludicrous now how they didn't think it was going to be a big record.
Yeah. So it's sort of unfair to like dismiss it as being just
Oh no, it's absolutely
big band.
genius.
It was so important.
Genius.
And like, did you? I can't remember. This is Tad. I love Tad.
Yeah. Never saw him live though.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, I can't remember if he was at the Powerhouse. I saw him at the
No,
Powerhouse.
I didn't go to that one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I never saw them. Shame.
Love this 12-inch.
Yeah. That Wood Goblins.
Yeah. And the other band that actually probably influenced us musically almost as much in a way. Like we ripped this band off quite a bit.
Completely. We had them. I bought a tremolo pedal just purely off the back of that band. Yeah. I love that band. I play them all the time. All the time, especially their Day Glow record, which
that's
that one, and Far Gone, that record there, that's the one. That's the one, and that EP with the tremolo guitar all over it. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's just but that record.
Yeah,
actually.
No, I agree. The Between Your Eyes song on that, the Between Your Eyes EP.
Yeah.
The tremolo one. And I swear REM ripped that off as well. REM ripped it off.
Well, I saw an interview with the guy whose name I can't remember, the singer dude, and he was saying, we ripped it off from a 60s garage song anyway. It's like it's everyone's ripping off everyone at some point. But I never saw him live though.
No,
I seem to remember they did come over to the UK, but I just didn't get a chance to see him for some reason. I don't know why. Good bunch though.
Yeah. So along with that stuff, these videos, I don't know if you got either of these videos.
No, I used to go around your house to watch those because you bought them all the time, and I just wanted to save my money. Yeah,
there was a couple. I got this one, and there's two Mudhoney songs, but Nirvana, Tad. These were pre YouTube, and we didn't have MTV or anything. These were
yeah. Has that got the head coats on
it? Yes, Girl of Matches.
Yeah. Again, you listen to Sub Pop stuff. And then you get to hear about Billy Childish because he's on Sub Pop, even though he comes from Chatham in Kent or whatever. Yeah, exactly. That's a cracking 7-inch.
I was going to say another band we saw quite a bit.
Yeah. That's the ticket for the last show they did, isn't it? Their final show. Yeah. Again, and then then you hear garage bands like that, and then you're checking out bands like the Sonics and the Standells, all that sort of stuff. It's a snowball effect and stuff. It's quite a sort of nice organic way of hearing new music when you're 16, 17. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I don't know.
I did think actually. The Head Coatees record I dug out because I still have a massive crush on Ludella Black, but they were great. Yeah. We used to go and see them at the Archway Tavern quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think Friday night or every Saturday night it was like the Head Coats and the Head Coatees, and they always had really good support bands. They had I've lost it now. Oh, there you go. This lot, Guaranteed Ugly. I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah.
But that's a, if you ever see that, buy it. Just buy it. It's just the best 7-inch single in the world. It's just brilliant.
But Armitage Shanks.
Yeah.
They would play a lot.
Again, so Armitage Shanks stuck out this record, which I should have pulled out. And it's them doing loads of punk covers. And one of the songs they do on it, I wish you could find it. I almost pulled it out earlier. But they did this whole 12-inch of punk covers, a lot of 77 punks. And one of the songs they did on it was the Mekons, Where Were You? And they do that. And I was like, who the hell are the Mekons? And it's like, again, you find all this older stuff from listening to newer stuff. But so yeah, Armitage Shanks were a cracking band.
So so by this point we're playing in the band Stanton. Stanton started around 95.
Yeah,
94, maybe earlier, but we were just 4-track stuff. And this is a cassette that came out. Still got a £2 sticker on it, weirdly. Victory Garden, Sides of Unequal Length released a cassette.
Oh yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I think on here there is a song you covering Where Were You?
Ah, really? Is it live? Probably live. I don't know. Yeah, we wouldn't have recorded it. I think we did it live. I think I would have just clanged into it on my own.
I'll tell you what it was. It was possibly our last ever gig at the Arts Cafe.
Right.
Around 93. No, 2003, sorry. And I think Simon had broke a string.
Right.
And so it was like, what the hell are we going to do? Because he was fiddling.
Ever the trooper, I thought, I can save this.
And you
I'll clang into this song badly.
Yeah, so you did the Mekon song on your own, and then we went into electric, and then that was the end.
Oh right, yeah. I do vaguely remember. I remember vaguely doing it because the guy that was doing the sound, he came up to me at the end of the night. He went, "That's one of my favourite Mekon songs," and then he just sort of like turned away and walked off. I was like, oh, so I ruined that one. I thought it was all right. I'd have to hear it again. I've not heard it for a while, but I'm sure it's probably.
It's on there. I think it's on there. I've got a couple of live cassettes of Stanton as well, and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
it definitely exists. You got the ticket for that gig?
I've got a ticket for one of the gigs. I think it might have been that one. It was when we were running Johnson Family Records, and we put All Dayers on.
Yeah.
And then,
Joey Fat, Conline, Stanton, Montana Pete, I'm Being Good, Reynolds, Cat and Form, Cove, Charlotte. What a lineup!
Bracket lineup.
£6.
£6. Yeah, that was a good night.
Every band.
Good night. Oh yeah. I just remember enjoying every single band that night. I enjoyed those all day gigs we put on. They were really good fun. We only did 3 of them. We did two at the Arts Cafe, which again is not there anymore, and then one at the Betsy Trotwood pub because the Arts Cafe had double booked. It was like the smallest venue we could find, and we oversold it. And it was fine because a lot of people were during the day. A lot of people were mingling around, sort of in the pub or they're in the venue. But it didn't get too busy, and then it got to the headline. I think Cat and Form were headlining that one, and all of a sudden you've got 200 people trying to get into a 100 capacity venue, and they were complaining, going, "We can't get in." So I just said, "We should have got here earlier." No refunds. Good one.
Because I wasn't there. I was there. I was there at the beginning. I watched Lo-Fi Sucks, who I think played first, who were from Italy.
Oh yeah, Italian bunch. Yeah.
And then I went home because Elise was having a baby.
Yeah.
I came down to sort of help at the beginning, but I had to leave because.
No. It was I think it was quite smoothly. It was quite funny because Joey Fat played. And the venue was in the basement, and Joey Fat's singer is quite a tall fella, and he had to did the whole gig like this because the ceiling was just there on him. It was but he said he enjoyed himself.
So around this point, from around '98, we're running Johnson Family Records. Mm-hmm. Okay, I only went for the 7 inches that we released.
Yeah.
And I think I've got either of them all, or if I'm missing any, I apologise to anyone. Okay, there was a Rain 7-inch called Frozen Acid.
Ooh, I haven't got that.
Yeah, you got it. I got spare copies if you've not got it.
Yeah, I might need a copy of that one. I don't think I've got that one.
This was the first thing we did. This was a Stanton 7-inch that came out in 1998.
Yeah. Hand pressed covers all in your flat in where were you? Palmerston Green, where we were.
Yeah, Palmerston Road, London, N22, HQS, flat 383. If you want to go and put a blue plaque on the wall, anyone? I'll save these 2 till last. We did 3 records by the band Lovers, who
got really covers as well.
Yeah. That one, and that one was first, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And but then we were supposed to release them all on a CD because that was the way of things, and we would have made our money back on the 3 7-inches that we lost money on. But they signed to Wichita, and Wichita wouldn't let us do it. Hello, Wichita. and so pretty much the label stopped after that because we kind of went broke off the back of doing these 3 7-inches so quickly. And
it's a shame. It was
that was the deal.
I did dig out a bunch of the stuff. I've got a whole bunch here. I'll just have a quick bunch of these. One of the ones I'm really, really glad we did, and it was purely through luck. We went to see the Black Art Procession at the Garage.
Oh, yeah.
The support band that night was a band called Macluadora.
Yeah.
Big bunch. And they were so good. The bass, one of the guys was, I think, the keyboard guy, and was just on the merch stall at the end of the night. And I just sort of said to him, those first 2 songs that you started your set with, can we release that as a 7-inch single? And he was like, yeah, sure. It was that easy.
Yeah.
And he said, give us your email, give us an address, and I'll send you a tape. And he got back off that tour and just sent us a must be a CD or something. and we just pressed up a 7-inch single by this band that we'd seen once, had no contact with, and I think they came from San Diego.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. It's one of my favourite songs, actually. I can't remember what it's called, Angel of Hearts or something, Ritual of Hearts.
Yeah.
And they were just a really, really nice band, and they just let us put this, let us put this record out on our tiny little label in London.
Yeah, it was cool. Awesome.
I've never heard from them since. It's like great. I got one. We sent a load of CDRs over to a load of American college radio stations, and one of them got to #1 in one of the charts. Yeah. And I just got this really nice email saying, "Oh wow, thanks guys." But I don't know what they're doing now. But it was like that's how we would do it. We just go up to band and say, "Do you want to put a record out?" And it was that easy. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. You could talk about the Wolf Colonel one then.
Yeah. Well, that's again a friend of ours, a very good friend, Jay, who's originally from Boston, and we just did a tour. Stanton did some gigs with him, and again we were like, can we put a record out by you? And all he had at the time recorded was a session he'd done for XFM for, I can't remember the DJ's name. You can remember, can't you?
Yeah, John
Kennedy. Yeah. So we had this cassette of this John Kennedy session, and we were like, yeah, all right. So we just pressed it up on vinyl. We didn't even ask for permission. Yeah, we got a bit of a snotty email from John Kennedy, I seem to remember, but he was all right about it, I think.
Yeah, we got in trouble for that. that was a official learning curve.
Yeah. You can't just press up any willy-nilly bollocks you want to. Yeah. But again, this is a prime example of just asking a person to say, can we put a record out? Blood Red Shoes' very, very first debut 7-inch single, because we played with them at, I think it was actually, we were doing Colossus by this point. Yeah. And we played with them at the Windmill, and Steve and Laura just turned up, and they had 6 songs. They'd only just really started. They had 6 songs, and they played a couple of them. I just said, Steve, mate, give us 3 or 4 songs. We'll put our 7-inch straight away. And he turned around, and said, Laura hasn't written any lyrics yet. She kind of just makes it up on the spot. I said, I don't care. Just give us some songs and we'll put it out. So we put that out, and it's a really, really good record. I love it, and they're still a good. Yeah. Yeah,
we gave. Then they played with Colossus again on the Colossus 50th gig.
Oh yeah.
And we gave them the records that night.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. And that was weeks later, and that was at Barden's Boudoir.
That's right. Yeah. And then the next thing, they're signed to like V2 or some major label, and
accidentally signed to a major label. It was it was an accident. I think that because they like had all their punk rock ethics, because Steve was in Cat on Form and was a top Fugazi worshipper, and it was and then they signed to some label, and then they accidentally realised it's a major label.
Yeah. And now they do these really glitzy videos and put out these really glitzy records and tour the world and have a career.
Yes.
And I'm not jealous.
Blood Red Shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, well done, you.
What about Lapsus Lingua?
Oh, I absolutely love Lapsus Lingua. That's another one. I don't know how. I can't remember how we heard of that band. But can you remember?
Yep, Ian Scanlon, I believe.
Oh right.
Econoline went to play in Glasgow, and I think they might have played with Lapsus.
Right.
Feeling that they had a manager called Brian
Blood Reynolds.
Yeah. And I think that Ian and him spoke, and then he got in contact with us, and then we did 300 records.
Yeah, that's a brilliant record. Tom Waits covering shellac songs is the only way I can describe. Yeah, Lapsus Lingua.
Best
really
cool band. I think.
Funny bunch.
Yeah. Kind of terrifying as well.
Yeah. But lovely.
The manager, Brian, would relentlessly email after this 1 7-inch we did, asking for money. Brian, if you're still around, still no money.
Yeah, we'll wire it to you.
God damn. What about this split 7-inch?
Oh, yes, a crack at that one. Yeah, anything Charlottesville put their name on is going to be brilliant. One of the best bands ever. In my opinion, how they weren't huge. I'm kind of glad they weren't, because there are little sort of gem, but they should have been. They should have a huge band. But they deserve.
We did a couple of 7-inches by them. This is the second press of this.
Yeah.
There was a first press with split coloured vinyl, which was really nice. I couldn't find it, but it's somewhere. We also did a first album. So.
On CD.
On CD, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
And obviously, Tom's still a good friend and does all the Sweet William stuff now as well. So
yeah.
That one with the Ramones cover is a really good record. A really good record. Yeah.
We did,
I
Simon's solo thing. Papa?
Oh yeah, Papa, always good.
Yeah,
always good. And the picture is drawn. The picture's a proper painting that his wife Hannah is a really excellent artist, and she drew. Actually, she painted that, and they used to have it on their. I seem to remember on their living room wall. Massive. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. I've always wanted to buy it, but I know it's so expensive because she's so good at art.
Yeah.
But she's a brilliant artist. So yeah, really, really, really lovely couple.
And Steph Ciccone 7-inch. Look at that.
Absolute geezer.
Yeah.
Absolute geezer.
Which he's also on this. We did a split 7-inch. With Steph. Yeah. And it was a split with a band who got absolutely enormous in Italy called Perturbazioni.
Yeah, I think they signed to like Sony in Italy or something like that. And I worked with this Italian girl. I mentioned her that name to her, and she was like, "Wow, you know those guys?" And she showed me this video of them doing like some TV special or something like that. Yeah, massive band. Yeah.
Yeah, Gigi's in politics now. He does like big in politics.
Oh, I don't know. They were good though. Good laugh. Yeah.
Epideme 7-inch.
Oh yeah, Barney. Yeah.
Lower Slaughter after Epideme.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
There's other things, but essentially is now.
They split up shortly after we pressed that up.
Brilliant. Thanks, lads. Yep. And another Stanton 7-inch, which we won't talk about. Even though it's absolutely excellent, of course. But the two big things we did really, I guess, were the two double 7-inches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got very lucky with that. Purely by luck. We just got this back from the pressing plant, the first one, 2 Minute Men compilation, which for anyone who doesn't know, was a lot of bands, 4 bands per side on a double 7-inch. Every song is under 2 minutes, sort of, that was the thing. Purely by luck, we sent a copy to John Peel, and one morning I'm walking to work and I'm just getting off at Oxford Circus Tube Station in Soho, and John Peel is walking down the steps as I'm walking up the steps, and I stopped him and I said, "Hey John, I'm Bob. I play in a band called Stanton. Just wanted to say thanks for playing our records." He was like, "Oh, I've just got your new one through the post. I haven't played it yet. I'm really excited to look at it." And it just snowballed from there. Next thing you know, we've got his producer, Louise Cattenhorn, who, again, another excellent human being, got in touch with us somehow and just said, "John loves the record." He played the record. He started playing the record like every night. He was playing at least 2 songs off it. Yeah. And then she just got in touch, said, "We should do a live session from Maida Vale. Can you pick 5 bands?" So I had the choice of picking 5 bands. Obviously, naturally, I chose Stanton because I was playing in Stanton. And it was like, I think her, John, and me sort of picked the 5 bands, and then again we just had a really good laugh. Yeah. And got to play at Maida Vale, BBC Radio 1 live on air at 11 o'clock at night. Something like that. Brilliant. Gorgeous. Look. I saw the chat you did with Reese the other day, and he was on about how everyone wore baggy jeans.
Yeah, I know.
And we did all wear baggy jeans, and we look silly, like boot cut jeans. What's this, 1982?
This is Bob here and Simon.
Yeah.
It's me and Chris, brother.
Yeah.
And I found this. This is the original photo. Look at this photo.
Oh yes. That was such a good night.
Can't do it backwards really, but there's Simon, there's Bob. Is it Tom from Hiramika?
Yeah, Tom Coogan, yeah.
Chris Summerlin, Phil.
Chris. Yeah.
Chris brother, my brother. I'm somewhere at the back somewhere. You got Mr. Peel, Louise Cattenhorn.
Yeah.
Billy Mahoney, guitarist, can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He wasn't in the band that long.
Maybe it's Kevin. Sorry, Kevin there, Phil there.
Phil, yeah.
This is weird back. Yeah. Pat from Cove, is that?
Yeah, Cove in the background there, yeah. Dave's there as well. And
Mark from Cove.
High Maker Hi-Fi couple as well in the back there, yeah. And the girl, I can't remember her name, she played violin for Reynolds that night. She was really cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Imagine Howard Monk's probably in there somewhere as well from Billy Mahoney. Somewhere
I have a
can't.
feeling, you know what? I think Howard and Gavin were pretending to be busy somewhere else to not be in the picture, and I got a feeling they regret it forever.
Their loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we were. We met we not only did we play a Peel session, we played a live Peel session, and John Peel was in the room with us. And
yeah, awesome.
It was pretty memorable.
And then we did it again because we did the second 7-inch.
Yeah.
Another 16 bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Being Good, Bilge Pump, Murder of Rosa Luxemburg, who kind of turned into Lovers.
Yeah.
Just rally. Cat on 4, Montana Pete, Old Time Religion.
Yeah.
Twinkie, Meets Guitar, Maculadora. So we did another.
Yeah.
Joey Fat, Charlotte Field, Poplar, Wolf Colonel, Lo-Fi Sucks, Fupper, and Gatto Ciliegia, the Italian band.
Yeah, that was I can't remember the guy's name. Yeah. Again, we were lucky. Again, we did that first one. It was really popular, and I think a few of the bands that were on the second one, I think we'd asked them on the first one, and they turned it down. And then I think they kind of regretted it. And as soon as we said we're doing another one, like, oh yeah, we'll do this one.
Yeah, exactly. And I sent them to Mike Watt. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, we kind of half named it. Plus, we put a quote on the back of it. And here's a question for yourself and anyone who's got this far into the recording of this. Here's a question. On the back, we put. It's a quote. Mr. Narrator, this is Bob Dylan to me. Quote. And I put D. Boone, 1984. Okay. And on the back of this one, my story could be his songs. D. Boone. So that's from History Lesson Part 2.
Yep.
From Double Nickels. Okay.
Yeah.
D. Boone sings the words. Mike Watt wrote the words.
Yeah.
Who'd you quote?
Well, I bumped into Mike Watt, and I showed him this. Yeah. When we were here and he was down there playing, and I showed him this, and he went, "Actually, I wrote that."
But D. Boone said it, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Either way is right.
Yeah.
Either way's right. Yeah. But yeah, he was all right. He seemed all right about it.
Yeah. No, he played some of the songs on his radio show. So.
Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. He seems like a really nice guy. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. We certainly did that period of time. We got quite lucky, I think. And a lot of those bands, I think, ended up doing Peel sessions in their own sort of off their own volition anyway, because I think it sort of pushed them a little bit anyway. Not that we're some sort of massive juggernaut of success, but we certainly had a bit of a help, isn't it?
And virtually all of them are either still going or we're still in touch with or are doing slightly different bands. And virtually there's barely anyone on any of these bands that we're not in touch with still.
Yeah.
And I think the people that did this were like, proper lifers, I think, doing this sort of thing. Like, seriously. Some of them have ended up being in Colossus. I think we're working through them.
I think nearly all of them, haven't they?
Yeah. So another band we saw a lot.
What we just go through this record and find people we need when we need to replace someone.
Another band we saw. There's two bands we saw, probably the most. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pick a 7-inch. It's Guided by Voices.
Yeah. Who I love.
Here's a gig. This was at the Garage.
Oh yeah.
This one's
the 96 one.
Yes, June 96. This is Guided by Voices with the Amps in Brighton.
Tammy and the Amps before they changed their name to the Amps.
Did Chavez play as well?
Yeah, that's it was. They were good.
Yeah,
really good. It's like I didn't realise who Tammy and the Amps were.
Yeah,
and I couldn't really see them because it was quite crowded. It was a sold-out gig. Well, for some reason, I think the tour was in London, but we decided to go and see them at the Concord in Brighton. And it wasn't until it's brilliant. 95, is it? Yeah, 95. Yeah, and got to the front of the stage. I squeezed my way into the front of the stage just to see Kim Deal playing, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I had no clue she was in that band at all.
Exactly. And how good is that?
And she was doing the merch and everything. She was just really low key and doing everything herself. It's brilliant. But and then they changed the name from Tammy and the Amps to the Amps, and they put out that record, which I did dig out. This, which is an absolute beautiful record. Really, really cool record. Yeah. So that's really good band. Really good gig.
But like properly brilliant. And Another band we saw a lot, and again, so far in all these chats, I don't think anyone has mentioned this band, but I think it's hard to state how important they were.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We again got lucky to see them because we've gone to see Seaweed. Yeah, we've got to see Seaweed at the old Trouting. I've got that ticket. That's that ticket from the Zap Club in Brighton.
Yeah.
When they played down there. But yeah, we saw Seaweed at the old Trout in Windsor.
Yeah.
When Pavement were actually headlining. So who the hell? And we'd never heard of them. Never heard of Pavement in our lives. But they came on and played all the songs off Slanted, and it was just it's mind blowing again. It's just like, this is brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
And no one's talked about them at all on any of these episodes, and
it's weird.
And I wonder because I sort of wonder if they're just of their time, and have they dated? Is that the story here? Do people just don't want to talk about them, or
I don't know. I still that record I dug out actually. I dug it out myself actually because I knew we'd end up talking about them because they were really important at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I kind of really like that early stuff when it sounds like it's on the verge of falling apart.
Yeah.
But it's not. And when they started getting a bit slicker and doing all like the country sort of stuff with like the pedal steel guitars and stuff, it's like, that's not really for me. And I think that's dated it a bit more. I didn't really like that sort of stuff. I like Steve Malcolm's solo stuff he's been putting out recently, but
yeah,
I didn't like when they got rid of Gary Young on drums. And I understand why they did it because he could hardly hold it together, and they wanted to get to the end of a gig without having a drummer that was just doing a handstand or something like that.
So exactly. So on that tour, Slightly Enchanted, we saw them about 6 times.
Yeah.
It was the one band that we properly almost followed around because I've got this is Cambridge.
Oh yeah, that was a good gig. Yeah.
We got to Brighton early. Do you remember getting to the Brighton gig early and sitting outside the venue waiting for them to come? Like total.
Yeah, they turned up in their transit van, and I remember Gary Young being the first out the van, jumped out the van, ran into the pub, and came out with like a bottle of whiskey under his arm, nursing it as if it was a baby and stuff. And we were like, wow, he's got a problem. But then, and then sort of having to wait another 5 hours to see this very drunk drummer play an absolutely fantastic set. It was such a cracking night. Yeah. I seem to remember we went there without tickets, and we were lucky to find like the last 3 tickets available. It was a really good gig, really good gig.
That's just one of those band that for a couple of years were just really, really important. And I have a feeling that there's a song on the first 7-inch we did. That's everything falling on the floor there. I can't remember Phrenology Bust. I'm pretty sure it's a Pavement song.
It's not. It probably could be.
Yeah, but that's fine. But so like that.
It's an homage, mate.
Yeah, but that record, like that first 7-inch. We were also massively influenced by Fugazi. And again, it's a band that no one's talked about. And I wonder again if it's just like Nirvana, just too big and obvious to mention.
It's possible. I mean, I think when we did our first chat, whenever it was a few months ago, I could have dug out so many different records. How Fugazi hasn't come up on any of your chats at all is really surprising because they are so influential to so many people. Everyone is just sitting there waiting. Come on, just do one more tour. That's all we want. Just do it. And they're never going to do it, but it'd be beautiful. It'd just be lots of fat old men sitting there. It'd be great. Because I don't know if there's a younger audience for them. I imagine, but I imagine their influence still trickles down to younger audiences. I don't know, but seeing them live in the 90s. And right up to the early 2000s, so cool. Never disappointed.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'll always happily show that one of the best gigs of all.
Yeah, I think I've got that one. Was that the 92 one? Yeah. In fact, I'll quickly show that's my Fugazi poster I've got on my wall there.
Awesome. Which
is possibly, what was that? I don't know. I'm not sure what year that was. It might be 93. Maybe 94. I can't remember. But yeah, that's been up there. That's been I don't know. I can't bring myself to take it down because I love it. Yeah, they're so cool band.
Everything about them, from the label business, has influenced us. The sound.
Oh yeah. Keeping it really simple. I mean, the first time we ever saw them was at Brixton, and a brilliant lineup. It was Leatherface, Jesus Lizard, Shudder to Think, and Fugazi.
Yeah, there
we go. Great band. Yeah. Came on stage and just someone started doing all the flashy neon lights and weird stuff, and Ian McCall was just like, no, turn all that shit off. Just have 2 bright lights. That's it. We don't want that. And they just played, and they all had like just really basic backline, bright lights, and they just played, and it was perfect. It's like this is how a gig should be. You don't need fancy light shows. It sometimes works for trippy shit, but for a band like Fugazi, you just want to be able to see the band rocking, and they're no nonsense. They just get on with it, and perfect. And it was proper eye-opening stuff as well. Yeah.
I think anyone who was there, it's got to be in their top pile of gigs that they went to.
Oh, completely. Yeah. Really, really cool band.
And like, so you got to remember that's 92, and like just a throwback here, because the other band we're influenced by was Fudge Tunnel, which is why I spoke to David from Fudge Tunnel the other day.
Yeah.
Here is this is 93. Okay, this is the template for a cassette we released that I photocopied numerous times.
Oh,
so
okay.
The side, the front, and everything.
Right.
And that was
I've never
was
seen that.
Yeah. And there's a song called Hate Song.
Yeah.
Completely lifted from Fudge Tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
Minor. And that was not anywhere near the same level as anything that Discord or anything's doing. But
if you're going to rip off a band, you rip off a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So it was like that was. I don't know. So weird to still have this, but yeah, we did our own like tape sleeves and would cut them out.
Who's the bloke?
I don't know his name. I've got it written here. There he is. I took it from the newspaper at the time. It says James Bouquet, Buquet.
Bucket. James Bucket, mate.
Buquet, and it says smiled as he reloaded his gun.
Oh shit! It sounds like a serial killer.
Yeah, I think that probably is the case, and this is probably the article that went with it.
Oh, okay.
As Bouquet's mother arrived at the scene, she said, "I have no idea what got into our son today. My boy wanted to work out."
Wow.
It sounds like he shot a bunch of people. Recorded on.
He should maybe just had a beer and just listen to some Nirvana or something. just chill out, mate.
So just that whole thing. I don't know. So don't want to go on too much more about gigs we saw, but here's a couple more. Okay, here's 3 records.
Go on.
Stoke Newington.
Oh yeah.
Dub Narcotic Sounds.
I did actually. I dug out the Dub Narcotic record. I popped it back in there. Bollocks. Oh, there we go. Because that was the gig that they had a gig booked in London. It's around about that time, isn't it?
Yeah.
That time, yeah. Boot party. And I seem to remember they had a gig booked in London that got cancelled or last minute. And it's when you were working somewhere with lots of people that put out K records. Yeah. And they said, the gig's going ahead. It's going to be in someone's flat in Stoke Newington. And we all just traipsed around to this sort of squat type warehouse flat house thing. And Dub Narcotic played in the kitchen. And Calvin Johnson was just up on the worktops, like doing his Calvin Johnson dance while the band just played. It was brilliant, really good night.
Yeah, it was properly excellent, wasn't it? And it was I remember him slamming the microphone down and walking out afterwards. And I wondered if that was his shtick or whether he had the arse. But
he might have had the arse because he was playing in a kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. So when was that? Mid to late 90s, I guess. I don't know.
1998, maybe 99. Yeah.
Leicester. Let's talk about seeing.
Yeah. I feel right here. I've got. So we saw them. Went to see the Princess Charlotte in Leicester in 1994. We went up to see New Bomb Turks, and that was the first. That was actually that day. There was a day I met Simon Hughes for the first time, who we ended up playing in Stanton with. And I've got the set list here, and I made a note. I've got the note. It's ripped in half, all right, because I had a struggle to get this off another guy, and I was like, "Fuck, mine." He got half, and I got half, all right. And I've got this, set list, 1994. 29th of October 1994, so I made a little note on it, and I put the year on there as well. So I had the forethought,
Good man.
thinking 30 years time. So anyway, there's a guy comes to see Colossus quite a bit. His name is Art Damage or something like that. He's a really lovely guy. I don't know what his proper name is. I just know him from his Facebook name, Art Damage. And we got talking, and that night we were talking about this gig, and I said, I went to this gig in the Charlotte. I said, they're called bloody New Bomb Turks. He went, oh yeah. I played that gig. I was in the first band. He was in a band called the Nerves, and I remember them. He was like a big spiky haired guy, and I remember the singer. He goes, yeah, it was me. And he's got the other half of this set list.
No way.
Because it was him.
No way.
It was him. I struggled to get it off, and he was like, yeah, I've got that other half. I was like, you bastard, that was mine. So yeah, but I let him off because he's a lovely bloke.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, how weird's that?
But yeah, we drove up to that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Go there because Rob Temple.
Oh, we had that mate Rob who was at university in Leicester.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and also Leicester's only like an hour up the road from us. So we could. It just made because we all had cars by this point, and you could just jump in a car, and it makes a difference from just going to London again. And you want to go somewhere a bit different. And it was a really, really, really good night. I seem to remember it was really good night. One of the other band that's played was Rugrat, which is members of Snuff. Just after Snuff had split up for the first or second time, they all formed separate bands. And one of the bands was Rugrat, which I don't know who from Snuff was in that band, but they played as well. I think they were pretty cool as well. Yeah. That was a good, really good sort of little road trip. 1 hour up the motorway.
Yeah, M1.
Yeah.
And let's talk about seeing Ligament then.
Again, funny how you go and see these bands because you love them, and then you end up being pretty good mates with, well, certainly two of them, because Johnny and my mind is going. Tim from Chimp, obviously previous to being in Part Chimp, were in that excellent band Ligament, who we certainly saw them a few times. I remember seeing they supported Pond, the Dublin Castle. I remember seeing them there, possibly the first time, and then numerous. They were always supporting all the really cool American bands that were coming over. It was always Ligament was supporting, and it was always really good fun to watch him because Johnny I still love watching Johnny play drums. Just love watching Johnny play drums. He's just arched back, just smashes the hell out of a kit. It's just beautiful to watch. Yeah. That record, that Kind Deeds record, is a special one. I did see that. Is it David from Fudge Tunnel? He pulled out. Did he pull out that one as well?
Yeah, there's been about 5 people that pulled out that record. I thought I'd drag the actual album out because everyone keeps.
Yeah, I have got that. It's beautiful. I was going to pull out. I did pull out this Part Chimp record as well because they're probably the band that I've seen the most.
Same here. Out
of all the gigs I've been to for the last 40 years. Probably because we played with them just so many times, and it's like I've just seen them probably 30, 40 times because we've just done so many gigs with them, and they're just always enjoyable. Really. Yeah. But yeah, Ligament back in the early 90s were always value for money.
Exactly. And the last time we saw them, of course, was with Mogwai upstairs at the garage.
Yeah. Oh, what a cracker. How lucky was that?
I know, right?
How lucky was that? Who's supporting Mogwai? Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll go to that. I remember going to get a ticket for that. I went to Star Green on just off Oxford Street to get a ticket for that gig, and the woman was like, "These tickets are selling really well." I said, "Yeah, because Mogwai are supporting." She was like, "Don't talk bollocks. They are supporting." She's like, "Mogwai just headlined like the Astoria or something like that." It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And it was rammed, absolutely rammed, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I think it was Ligament's last gig. That was the story, wasn't it?
That was, yeah. It was their last gig, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they got back together and did like a reunion show maybe 3 or 4 years later, but that was their official, their proper last gig. They're really good.
And it was, I'll tell you when it was mid 2000, the year 2000.
Yeah.
Elise was pregnant with.
She was very pregnant.
Yeah, and apparently Stan was dancing.
I
I don't know if that's true, but
think all my internal organs were dancing as well. It's pretty heavy sound in there.
Yeah, but it's awesome because if you only need to go, you go back like almost 10 years onto this.
Yeah.
Our crappy band up here, but also like the Love Blobs and a few others.
Yeah. All sort of crisscrosses slowly, isn't it?
It's not that big a world. We weren't. I would say we weren't very good, but it was nice to be on the same flyer as all those actual good bands. Yeah,
it is. It's one for the was it the vanity box, as Chris Sumlin puts it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then I don't know. I haven't really got a great deal else to say. Have you got any records to show or talk about? I just wanted us to do this. Really,
I don't know. I mean, there's I don't know. Not really. Don't know. There's. I mean, I've got loads of records, as you can see, but I don't know. I mean, you want about sort of going to gigs when we were younger. One of the bands I certainly really, really liked was, and we got to go and see him with this lot. I saw this lot a few times. Remember Crazy Head? That's
a different version. Record. That's a different version.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, my sleeves different.
It's just better. It's got just like they look really cool on the front anyway. But yeah. There we go. I remember seeing that. We were very lucky to be able to jump on a train, either go to Milton Keynes to that Wolfton place, or jump on the same train line and go into London, go to the Marquee and see bands at the Marquee. So yeah, Crazy Head at the Marquee and Wolfsbane and The Almighty, all that sort of stuff. But I've got loads of records I could have pulled out and talked about, but I don't know.
It was a marvelous era for us because having the Going Underground venue in Berkhamsted meant that you could go there and there'd be a band on pretty much every night.
Oh yeah, it was 7 nights a week.
And even the Going Underground band were good.
On a Monday.
Yeah,
on a Monday night. Yeah.
They were entertaining. They were good fun for us to watch. And and what we probably started going there when we were 16.
Yeah, 15 or 16. That we would go down there, and I remember when we all sort of celebrated our 18th birthdays.
Yeah,
but we'd been drinking down there since we were 16. It was like everyone knew, because back in the 90s, it was you could go and have a pint in a pub. It wasn't really. Now it's like really strict licensing laws, which I agree with wholly. But Christ, I don't know what else I would have done. My mum was quite happy for me to go down the pub and watch bands rather than, at least she knew where I was. Exactly. She's like, hanging out on the street corners. What am I going to be doing now? Smashing windows and shit? No, I'm going to be in a pub watching a band. No. That's where I want my kids to be. It makes sense to me.
It was really important for us to have that there. We sort of, and I think that having that venue there really, I don't know. I think it affected us musically to make us, but made us want to do it. I think. Yeah. The fact it was local, it was a lot of local bands, but because it was a proper touring venue as well. You'd go down there on a Friday night, and they'd have like the Groundhogs playing down there also. Proper bands. Yeah.
It's like in a 5 minutes walk from our front door. So we were very, very lucky to have that.
I remember Censor playing there, and the singer cycling from Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Turned up.
They were good. Yeah. It was good. Again, you just, when you're 16, you need something. You need to go to something. And when you live in a pretty small town, you need that. Having that at 16, God Christ! I don't know what else I would have done, because I don't know.
No.
I thank my lucky stars for the Going Underground bar in Berkhamsted during the early night.
Here's something old school. Go on. Ashland's School.
Oh yeah.
School we went to. Ashland's music competition. 1990 prize winners concert. Wednesday, the 28th of March, 1990. I'm 15 at this point. We do Born to be Wild.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Joe Thompson on, Robert Davis, Neil Culverhouse on drums.
Oh right. Yeah. Don't know about that.
That was the lineup.
Maybe Stuart. I wonder what's happened to him.
Yeah, and I still got the letter that I got from the headmaster after we played.
Wow. Did we win money?
No, we didn't. Joint winner and runner-up. We were. Joint winner and runner-up. From Ashlin's school.
Wow.
Mr. Warren, the headmaster, remember him?
No, I didn't like him.
No. Congratulations on your success in the Ashlin's music competition, 1990.
Wow. That's bonkers. That's bonkers, that is, yeah.
That was the peak.
And here we are, still making horrible music.
Ashton School, like I that place smelt of a terrible old like death hospital, and as in
it used to be used to be an orphanage.
Yeah, it
used to be an orphanage. Very strange place. Quite a lot of history there. But yeah, it's quite a. I think probably. I was always hoping for an episode of Most Haunted to come from Ashlin's School. Like if they go into the crypt under the chapel bit, that was always really creepy down there. I didn't like it, but yeah, it's quite a sort of a pretty. You drive past it, it's a pretty beautiful looking building, but when we were there, it was beautiful from the outside. You drive past it on the main road, you actually get into the school. It's pretty run down and pretty shonky inside. Be honest with it, but yeah.
One day walking.
That's where I got my education.
They had a swimming pool in there, indoor swimming pool. I remember walking in one day, and there was all these like soft balls by the side of the swimming pool, and I walked in and just booted one of these balls, like just like give it a right old thwonk, and it hit one of the glass lights above the pool. And the glass light fell into the pool and smashed, and they had to drain the pool. Like there was no swimming lessons for 2 or 3 weeks. They had to drain the pool.
That's your fault. Your fault.
I had to go and see Mr. Warren, the headmaster, about that.
There he is, a year later, rewarding you for your musical exploits.
I turned it right round and he was a runner-up in our competition.
I bet he would have been crying writing that letter.
Jason Webb won. He did a Hendrix song called Angel.
Oh, right. Jason Webb.
Yeah.
I seem to remember Jason Webb became quite a good DJ down in Brighton.
Oh, really?
I could be wrong about that. Nice guy, Jason Webb.
Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, there we are. Ashlin's School. God damn.
Yeah, that's it, really. But yeah. But have I got any records? I did pull out a whole bunch of records, but I don't think there's any. But interestingly, I will say one last thing. So just getting into Nirvana and stuff. And when you get into Nirvana, you get to hear about other bands and stuff. I bought this record shortly after buying Nirvana records because Kurt Cobain's got his name on it. But it's pretty hard work, this record.
Yeah, it's a bit shit.
I probably played it maybe twice.
Yeah.
Just purely bought it because it had Kurt Cobain's name on the back of it.
And Matt Lukin on bass. Yeah,
well, yeah, there's obviously that big winner as well, being a big Mudhoney fan. But I don't know, it's funny, isn't it? It's like,
really?
Wasn't quite what I was expecting.
Do you remember at Reading Festival? It was horrible watching them.
Yeah, they didn't want to. They were pouring rain.
Pissing rain.
Early, about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It wasn't very enjoyable for them, unfortunately.
And can we just clear up the whole having to sleep in your car over that week?
Yeah, you didn't bring a tent. You told me you brought a tent. I opened up the boot of my car, my Ford Fiesta, and we went off to the Reading Festival with what we thought was a tent in the back of the car, only to go and pitch this tent to find that we had 3 sheets of tarpaulin and nothing else. So that's why we had to sleep in my car. And I was so fucked off with you. I made you sleep in the front on seats that didn't recline. And I slept in the back to myself. There you go. But you repaid my my anger by listening to John Peel at 1 o'clock in the morning and leaving the radio on and flattened the battery. So on the Monday morning when we were trying to get out this horrible sodden rainy field, we had to get a jump start off some bloke. It was what pain in the arse. Yeah, there you go. That's what happened. Don't forget the tent when you go to the Reading Festival, kids.
You know what? Were you at the Reading Festival where we went and all the tents got nicked?
Yeah, I had my tent nicked.
Yeah,
I had my tent nicked, and I had a leather trilby in the tent. And the irony of that is, my tent was stolen with this leather trilby inside it, and the leather trilby I'd stolen myself from this kid. I went to see Rancid at the Astoria, and the support band was this band called Mouthwash, who were like this sort of kiddie sort of ska punk band, who I quite liked actually. And the guitarist or someone, one of the members of the band was wearing this leather trilby, because obviously he wanted to look like Rancid. And I was backstage. I ended up backstage because I was with a bunch of mates who had backstage tickets. And this kid walked past with this leather trilby on it, and I just went, "I'm having that," and I just took it off his head and just took it, and off I went. And yeah, and the karma hit me in the backside a few months later when I got my tent nicked and the hat. So there you go. So don't nick hats, kids.
With Mouthwash, we saw them with the Get Up Kids and Braid, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They signed to. They were like on whether Rancid label or Epitaph or something like that. I thought they were pretty good, but I don't know what happened to them. They were a pretty good band. I quite liked them. They're like kiddie ska punk with leather trilbies.
Without leather trilbies.
Maybe that's why they split up. They couldn't perform without the hat.
Oh dear. Anyhow, I'm glad we did this, because I think and then we formed Colossus. End.
Yeah, and
So I really don't have anything else to say apart from, let's have a little look at a picture of you here.
Oh yeah. Oh, I look good. That's good, isn't it? That's Giles's book, isn't it? Yeah.
This book came out and it's got pages, and look at that.
Yeah.
Dude from
I know.
Fan Club.
My favourite band.
You're almost kissing him when we close it.
Where am I kissing him?
Toes, his toes. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of the fan club. Actually, when Giles put that book together, he sent me a lovely message saying, "I put you on the same page as Teenage Fan Club, so I thought you might like that." Yeah. Like, yes, I did. Thank you very much, Giles. Much appreciated.
It's quite.
So, I should probably, if you're going to do that, I might as well just dig out this. This is Giles, who does the 101 podcast.
Oh yeah. This
is his band. They're called Honeyjoy, and I should big it up as well because my nephew is the guitarist with his wife who sings. But they're a cracking band, and like I say, Giles is a very good bloke.
Cool. Nice.
There you go. Terrible advertising there.
No. It's good though. It's like, people are doing it. It's good that people are doing it. I don't care.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. On that note, let's call it a night. It's Sunday. It's late, isn't it?
Yeah. Some of us have work in the morning.
I got tomorrow off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Noted.
I'm off to open up this, find out what demo I've copyrighted.
Got to be careful. As soon as you open it up, Chimp are going to put that song out. Say, no, we wrote that.
Be on an iPhone ad immediately and we won't get a claim.
You've blown it.
Okay, let's say goodbye. Thanks for doing this again.
Pleasure.
We can say goodbye properly once I press stop.
Okay. What, naked? No.